Minister for Health Ong Ye Kung, welcome back to the show.
Hello everyone.
When you put the bins out, right, was the amount of pots that were surrendered surprising?
Certain spots, I don't know why it's full.
Oh,
Where?
Is it Yishun? Is it Yishun?
I don't know why.
Oh! Alright guys, so in recent weeks, headlines have been pretty much dominated by Kpods, not to be confused by K-pop, both things I don't understand the obsession around. Anyway, the vape situation in all seriousness have seemed to escalated very, very quickly in the last few weeks with news coverage almost daily about zombies. I'm getting a bit scared also about it. And there seemed to be a ramp up in enforcement as well as punishment. With the new measurement kicking in, we thought it would be a good opportunity to actually seek some clarity. And so we have welcomed back Minister for Health Ong Ye Kung, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. I'm back.
Welcome.
So for those who don't know, the last time we saw you was actually 2 days before polling day. We obviously want to talk about vapes and the Kpods, but I also do want to check in with you. Anything surprised you with regards to like GE and the results since we last saw you?
I would say pleasantly relieved.
Okay.
Pleasantly relieved. You remember I came here, I remember because I felt very strongly that the last term where we have 12 seats, that is in opposition hands, provided their checks and balance. But at the same time, government could work, especially during COVID-19 pandemic, we could act decisively, but we're also answerable to opposition that can raise all kinds of questions. Right? So I thought it was a workable equilibrium.
Right.
Yeah. And I was hoping we get to continue with that equilibrium. Turns out, not that I was predicting, turns out the result showed that the people felt that this can be given a chance, another 5 years. So I would say next 5 years for the PAP, having gotten this result, cannot be complacent.
Is that the main lesson for the next
I would
GE?
say so. The people decided opposition is here to stay. This is the first time, as long as I have watched politics, that the PAP government came out to say opposition is here to stay.
Right.
Yeah, there is no chance, zero chance of an opposition wipeout. Turns out it was true. Yeah, so where opposition already held a seat, they kept it. People want them in. At the same time, they didn't win new seats other than 2 more in CNP, which is some progress for them. So I think the balance was kept. Yeah. So to me, it is a signal to the PAP that for the next 5 years, make this work again.
So after the election, right, you all got like off in lieu or this one? Got after party also.
Because of the 90s.
Don't have. Political party and that party different.
So like you mentioned, I think, we definitely want to touch upon the vape and Kpod issue. I think there's a lot of questions that we have. And of course, you're at the forefront of the government's action on it. I think personally for me, I don't know about you guys, but it felt like the emergence of Kpods was almost quite out of a sudden. Like I remember all of a sudden, like there was a 2-week period where there was clips online about, like the zombies, Mothership, CNA was posting it. From the ministry's point of view, was it also all of a sudden or were you actually seeing the trends pointing towards?
It's quite sudden. There were sporadic cases. Actually, first we heard about ketamine, but ketamine disappeared very quickly, then taken over by etomidate.
Yeah.
This is basically anesthetics you use, but even hospital now stopped using it. Very, very rarely do we use etomidate. So we start to hear 1-2 cases. For me, turning point was house visit. A lady, 2 kids, staying with the mother, told me they shifted out of their house, moved in with the mother because the husband took Kpod. And became abusive to the children. And she said, you guys have a problem because as a user, no matter who I report to, at most he get is a fine. And you just pay the fine and continue.
Because at that point in time, it wasn't classified as a drug.
It wasn't classified as a drug. Yeah.
Okay.
It wouldn't until 1st September,
Yeah.
right? So that's when I thought something's wrong. He said after he took Kpod, his behavior towards the kids totally changed. I went back to the ministry, discussed this again, discussed with MHA, and we decided better make a move. So maybe a week later, July 20th, we announced we'll put it into MDA, the Misuse of Drugs Act, and treat it like a drug.
So for those who don't know, from September 1st, I believe, etomidate will be classified as a Class C drug under the Misuse of Drugs Act, enabling drug-like penalties. For those who don't know, like what's the differences between the classes?
Class A are all the hard drugs, cocaine, cannabis. Class 2 is related to codeine.
Okay.
Yeah, more codeine like. Class 3 are the rest.
Okay. And so this one will be classified under that
This one under
one.
Class C.
Class 2 got like medical use basically.
Codeine, yes, is for
really
medical use as well.
Okay.
Is there a reason why it wasn't already classified under the Misuse of Drug Act?
Because it's new.
Oh.
You see, this is why we banned vapes. When they first started, vapes was touted as something to help you quit cigarettes.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right,
it's a
right.
nicotine product.
Yeah.
But we were very worried about two things. First, because it's a vape, you can introduce more people to pick up smoking. Yeah, as while you may have some cessation benefit, you end up promoting a lot more smoking,
Right.
which we see, which we are seeing now in many countries. Secondly, is that it becomes a gateway, a delivery device for more harmful substances. And it did come true in the case of ketamine and then etomidate. Yeah, so it did happen.
So now that there will be like drug-like penalties for it, just for those who don't know, like I believe like sellers and traffickers may face up to 10 years jail and 5 strokes of the cane. Importers face up to 20 years jail and 15 strokes. And agencies in Singapore has also intensified enforcement. So, there are things like patrols and checks, there's even ICA checks, public transport checks. What makes us confident that these harsher penalties will actually help to curb it rather than create an even more forbidden food effect?
It has helped for other drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, it has always helped for other drugs. We just raised the issue of ketamine. So for traffickers, sellers, distributors, now jail, cane.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very serious. Yeah. In the past, it's possibly jail up to 2 years, no caning. Now it's up to 10 years, 20 years for importers, up to 15 stroke of the cane. So it's a lot more serious. It has worked for other drugs. I believe it will work here too. They will think twice. Because, the importers, sellers, traffickers, the mindset is they're businessmen. Yeah, they're businessmen. They're making money.
Yeah.
They are selling this thing knowing that it's harmful, but it makes them money. Then they calculate what's the risk. If the risk is a fine, okay,
So like they
carry on.
Yeah,
If the
ROI
risk is 2 years, maybe still okay, worth the risk. The ROI is still worth it. No?
yeah.
The risk return. But now the risk is 20 years, 15 strokes, they will think twice.
There's something also that I'm very curious about because I'm also seeing there's things like the red bins, there's the things like come forward, ask for help. What's the considerations behind like the free, not free pass but I guess the leniency, almost the approach on like come forward rather than like hard stance?
It was my call.
Oh.
It was my call. The same point Raja raised, a lot of young people.
Okay.
A lot of young people. If we throw the book at them with the Misuse of Drugs Act, which means from day one you are caught,
Yeah.
you're arrested.
Yeah.
You're arrested, you go through weeks long of mandatory supervision, urine tests every week, right? And if you fail one of the urine tests, just tested positive, you probably end up in detention. Yeah. So for a young person, 80% below 30, future a bit tough. The record is there. I feel, just judging by after we announced that we're going to put etomidate in Misuse of Drugs Act, I think based on the samples we test, the proportion that contains etomidate has been dropping. Yeah. And also just knowing young people, listening to parents talking about their kids after the announcement was made,
Yeah.
my sense is there has been a change in behavior.
Okay.
And the awareness just went up.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of influencers, suddenly we never pay them. We never pay them. Suddenly talking about K-pop, I suppose it's
trendy, man.
It's
So they
trendy.
get
Yeah, it's
to-
trendy.
So it's organic lah.
It's of course it's organic lah. Yeah.
When you put the bins out, right, was the amount of pots that were surrendered
No,
surprising?
it's not, and we never expected it. Certain spots, I don't know why it's full.
Oh,
Where?
There's certain areas.
Which area of Singapore got the
Easy
most?
Yishun. You easy Yishun.
Kebangan, I don't know why.
I genuinely didn't think you'd give us a reference.
I suspect a group of parents, a group of kids come together and say, let's get rid of this.
Let's go far away from our neighborhood.
Let's go.
That's another reason. Actually, they were Yishun kids. They say, let's go Kebangan.
They will deploy HSC officers to Kembangan and they will leave Yishun alone. Yeah.
Master plan.
Okay, but nobody believed that the CCTV will not catch them. But it doesn't matter. To me, it's just to put out the bins.
Yep.
Let people talk about the bins. Whether they criticize it or not doesn't matter. It's just they know there's a grace period. There's a grace period.
Did y'all ever see anyone actually like use the try to go and take. Yeah.
No, that's what the CCTV is
Bio catch or
for.
not? Is there a bio catch?
No, there isn't.
Never
There
happened.
There wasn't. Not that I know of.
No, I remember seeing the vape bin and I thought it was quite presumptuous that the hole was just that size. Like what if someone had like a jumbo
vape.
Yeah, they cannot fitness. I cannot dispose.
Oh,
of mine,
continue smoking it.
I've not seen one. Have you seen a jumbo vape?
No, I don't know. Like, how come you all know? So you all like studied the average size of vapes and went, okay, this is the average size.
I went to HSA. I saw all the vapes that they're seized. They're different shapes and sizes.
Okay.
Yeah, disguised as different things. Yeah.
So our colleague, right, has brought up this scenario
Oh, I thought you got powder
where
someone.
if let's say somebody is vaping,
Yeah.
and then they kena caught on the street, right? Can they just say that they are on the way to the bin? They're getting used.
Nice try.
No, but I mean,
They are
it's
on
like
the way because they are trying to kick a habit, so they are doing the right.
So is so hypothetical. So is the guy vaping or not?
yeah, like what last puff, then you throw.
Even simplify it.
Then, okay, I'm done. Yeah.
Wait, so you stand next to a bin, then the stand next to the red bin, you vape there. Then I'm like, okay, it's finally
Last
done.
one, last
you
one,
say,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna cut.
It's like,
yeah.
Goodbye.
I'm pouring one out for the homie kind of thing. Then you.
Actually, I get that all the time for cigarette smoking. You're not supposed to smoke in certain certain area. They always say I got caught, but I was actually smoking far away. Then I was finishing already, walking last part before I throw, and then I got caught.
So how actually?
Usually we will appeal for them, but usually I think not successful. No.
Okay, so don't try this.
Because you mentioned that it's worked before, so this is a try and tested method. So let's do it again, and it will solve the issue hopefully. My thing is that since the day I was born, I've grown up knowing that this is bad, aka like drugs, illegal, completely not happening.
Don't touch
you
it,
know,
yeah.
and that's the entire lifetime I've had. But when it comes to vapes, and I want to quote, I think 80% of vape users, I think was recently announced, under the age of 30 in Singapore. Under the age 35, 30.
I announced it.
You did.
I'm the one who
I'm
announced.
quoting him to himself.
Yeah.
But no, because of that, that's the
But very good. You heard my
of course,
announcement.
Not just that, one third are under 18.
Yeah, that's huge numbers, right? And these people have grown knowing about they've known about drugs, the illegality, but vapes to them were at some point open fair game. And then now they are being introduced as, oh no, now is the hard stop. So they didn't have that whole, I've grown up in my formative years knowing that it's illegal.
Yeah.
So what's the guarantee that it will work now when we've made it illegal?
There is some risk of that now, that you grow up thinking that it's fine. But it was banned, except that enforcement is never enough. So people are quietly vaping away. I do think many of them know that it's banned and it's not allowed. But they feel they can get away with it. Yeah. But now we are going out to catch people in a larger force. And I think they will think twice too. I also think that being young, I do have a lot of faith in young people. They are more persuadable.
Okay.
Yeah. If we come out now to say you've been doing this, but now it's really wrong, you can quit. We can help you quit. Yeah. And just go for this counseling session. It's free.
Yeah.
There's no record, nothing. Just dump it and move on. I feel for young people they are a lot more persuadable.
Okay.
As opposed to a hardcore drug abuser, it's very hard to persuade them. Harder to persuade them.
So even not just negative, but positively persuade them. Like,
I think so. For young people, I think it can work.
Okay.
It can work.
So how are you approaching students at the moment? Like how does it work?
On one hand, making sure there's a strict disciplinary framework. Yeah. Not just being fined by HSA and MOH, but also their school discipline framework. And at the same time, encourage them to quit. And there is a way for you to help yourself.
So are you all going to schools to do spot checks and try to catch students, back check, all this kind of stuff? Or what? How does it happen on the ground?
MOE is doing that. I'm not sure they are going to do a lot of back checks. Yeah.
In schools themselves.
Yeah, MOE will try its best to use education.
Right.
I believe, if I'm not wrong, from September 1st, schools will be increasing measures when it comes to vaping, including detention, suspension, caning for boys only. Conduct grade adjustments and counselling. And I believe the news just came out as well. Polys are also trialing vape smoke detectors. So I think that's, I guess they can detect certain elements in vape smoke to detect whether it's happening.
I'm a bit troubled by the type of enforcement that we are pushing on this topic. And I want to be quite clear that when I say this, I'm not referring to the Kpod side of things. Personally,
The
I like.
vaping
Yeah,
side.
I think the Kpod. Yeah, that one. No argument. Is really whatever can be done to stop it, we should stop it.
Yeah.
Stop
But
it.
I think the regular non-Kpod vapes. I wonder if it's too harsh, where the alternative is just going to be a regular pack of cigarettes, right? Because from people I talk to. Okay, personally, I don't smoke. I don't vape. I don't know if you do any of that.
Wow, nice try.
Favorite flavor of
Nice
vape.
try.
I don't know.
When I want a fruit flavor,
Yeah.
I usually eat the fruit.
Eat healthy, eat fruits, vegetables. Anyway, so some people I know who do, they used to smoke their whole lives. And then
Yeah.
when vapes came about, they switched to that. And I asked them, so what's the appeal here? And it's like, well, maybe overall, pound for pound, slightly cheaper. But most of them said the same thing, is that I find it a little bit better than smoking cigarettes. Better in that it's not as terrible as what my cigarette
Yeah,
habit
yeah.
used to be.
Right.
And so now that we have switched gears and gone, we're going hard on enforcement and banning and all this, I fear that those friends will switch back to regular old cigarettes.
We're going to see an uptick in cigarette
Yeah, an
consumption.
uptick in cigarette consumption, and I feel that is partially, a slightly more, in my opinion, uninformed opinion, might be worse, might be more harmful.
It's not invalid.
Yeah.
It's not invalid. If you look at your friend who smoked and he switched to vape and maybe even gradually vape less and less until he kicked the habit, no, for him, it makes sense. It makes sense to vape.
Yeah.
Right? But for us as MOH, I need to look at the whole population.
Yeah.
I recognize it benefit him. Yeah. But from what we have observed in other countries that allow vapes, you end up enticing a lot more people to smoke than to persuade people to stop smoking. You take, for example, Australia, they're now regretting and they are really trying to tighten. They have tightened, but they allow vapes because of this harm reduction, cessation argument. But as a result, today, vaping amongst the young is rampant in Australia, right? And when they survey the students, 58% never used to smoke.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of vaping, now they're vaping. A pot, they can smoke the whole day because unlike a cigarette, they all smoke or not? Okay, you don't have to tell me. But
Suddenly caught off guard. Yes.
it's alien. Because smokers tell me when they smoke, they have one stick.
Yeah.
When the stick finish, snap it out, finish.
Yeah.
Then they go back to work, right? Whereas a pot lasts on and on and on.
Right.
And you can smoke a whole pot a day.
Right.
From our tests, one pot contains as much nicotine as 4 packets of cigarettes. So to a young person who say, I vape, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Usually based on the habit, it's not. You're
Right.
taking far more
Because
nicotine.
it's just easier to do it.
Yes, and there's no end. There's no stick that end. When it
Right.
ends, it's the whole pot end. By then, it's 4 packets worth of nicotine. Yeah. So while you benefit some from cessation, you introduce many more smokers. So what Australia did, and I had long meetings with the health minister, they have several months ago backtracked from their vaping policy. So now you can only purchase vapes in pharmacies. But it's a bit too little too late, I find. It's very challenging because it's already widespread,
So given that it's not widespread here in Singapore, is regulation not the answer where, like for example, nicotine gum, you have to go to a pharmacy, you have to speak to a pharmacist before you can even get prescribed. If
That's a separate story. I'm a bit responsible for that because it's part of our US-Singapore free trade negotiation.
Right.
Yeah, and we ban chewing gum and the Americans want to export chewing gum. So we say allow medicinal chewing gum. So that's how nicotine gum is applied.
Oh, that's the backstory.
That's the backstory. Yeah, that's the backstory. But it allows us to seal the agreement.
okay.
That's one sticky problem that we
That
solved.
actually was.
That was a sticky problem at the end.
I see the pun.
In case you didn't get it, I said it a second time.
I definitely got it.
But what if nicotine vapes were regulated?
Okay,
right? You can buy
yeah.
from pharmacies.
I will say this. Cigarette smoking is plunging throughout the world.
Right.
Yeah, in Singapore, it's dropping very quickly. Amongst the older crowd, some of them can't kick the habit, and so they stay. But actually, for the young, they largely don't smoke.
Yeah.
Before vapes came along, largely don't smoke. Our survey showed that cigarette smoking prevalence has dropped to 8.8% amongst adults.
Oh.
I think it's 15 and above.
Yeah.
Prevalence is 8.8%. It's one of the lowest already. Lowest ever in history, I think. Yeah. And it's still going down. But vapes is messing things up by making the young pick this up.
Yeah.
I would say this. To be honest, there's a lot of comparison. Why ban this but not cigarettes? Yeah. I would say that if today cigarette is a new product, let's say
Yeah.
you watch the show Beatles. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
There's this guy struck by lightning.
We just talked about yesterday at lunch.
At lunch,
Was it yesterday? He got struck by lightning. He woke up and the whole world doesn't know.
So in that world, there's no cigarette.
Let's say you have a world where there are no cigarettes and cigarettes.
No Beatles, no Coca-Cola,
no Coca-Cola, no Harry Potter, no cigarettes, and you want to introduce cigarette, it will be banned. It will be banned. However, this thing came out in the 1800s. Start from North Carolina, they grow tobacco. And then it became a worldwide habit. So by the time it's so entrenched, how to change? You're not going to just ban it. Having said that, there has been a movement called the tobacco end game.
Okay.
A few countries have announced it. Unfortunately, they backtracked. New Zealand announced under Jacinda Ardern, but after she stepped down, they reversed the policy.
It could be quite unpopular, I would imagine.
But it was very popular amongst the young at that time when she introduced it.
Is it the one where they push the limit every year?
So you basically set a limit to say that, let's say for us, 12-year-old and below shall never smoke their whole life.
Okay. I know.
So when the 12-year-old reach 21, you raise the limit to 22. So they still cannot smoke. When they reach 22, you raise to 23. So the bar keep raising until they grow old. And by then, nobody can buy.
Nobody is smoking.
Nobody. And you have a whole generation that grew up without cigarette, your point, and never had a habit, never had the urge. A bit like chewing gum. Most of us, I never met a Singaporean say, I must eat some chewing gum. No, never grew up with it. Never missed it.
Our jaw a bit
Never
soft.
missed it.
In a hypothetical, right? Let's say, this is obviously not what's happening, but hypothetical. Let's say vapes had become a thing during the COVID period, when MOH had their hands full fighting COVID. And then you throw in a vape, right? And they have no time to take a look at it. Let's say that vape stuff had grown and it had gotten to a point where it's like, okay, now it's too late for us to do what we can do now. Because now I think we're in a stage where you can fight vapes off. Would it then be the only time you can say, okay, I will legalise, regulate, and tax instead of ban?
Totally hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Knowing the PAP government, we will start another task force. And we will have 2 task force, one on COVID, one on vape. Okay. I would say, but hypothetically, if that happened, then what Shanmugam said would have come true. You lost control. Then your only way is to regulate. Whereas because we ban, we have a lot more options. So you look at different countries or different regions. Malaysia always allowed vape. And shortly after I announced that etomidate will be listed in the Misuse of Drugs Act, 1 week later he said we better regulate and ban vapes. So he start talking about it, but it's difficult, He's lobbied on both sides. Tough job. But I really encourage him. Because most of our vapes come from the north through the causeway. So if Malaysia tighten up, it will help us. Hong Kong also started pulling back on vapes. They have always banned the sale and use. They banned the import and production.
Okay, but not the use.
But not the use and the possession. So you can buy from somewhere else, bring it in. And so it's also quite rampant. But they are now trying to also ban public use. So you can smoke at home. But not public. So they are taking it step by step. And Australia, as I mentioned just now, they now allow it in pharmacies. So various regions having liberalized are all trying to pull back now. They know the harm.
My friend who lives in the US, where vaping is completely fine, I was asking this and got me thinking, because I know the answer. If you are transiting to Singapore, which is a very likely thing for a lot of people to do, and you have no intention of entering Singapore, you're just staying in transit like 5 hours and then you take your next flight out. Can they have their vape with them?
You transit in Singapore where?
Okay, so you fly from, let's say, San Fran, you stop in Changi, and then you continue on to somewhere else.
Transit is in Changi. Transit in Changi, which is quite near Kembangan.
Well, yes.
And in part of Singapore.
But she has no intention to enter Singapore.
No, you're in Changi. Changi is Singapore.
No, but they never clear immigration and go in. So is it legal for them to keep their vape without like they bring it from the US where it's legal, they're going to another place where it's legal?
Legally is not allowed.
Because apparently I read also, so there'll be announcements that will be made on aircrafts to like warn everybody about the laws in Singapore. Which makes sense lah. Like just don't bring your vapes.
There are a lot of things being announced in the announcement getting longer. The flight before decide already must start the announcement.
It used to be for Singaporeans, welcome home. And then now it's like, okay, by the way. How effective do you anticipate things like the QuitVape like program to be?
It's too early, we just started it. Because the QuitVape is largely run by the social service agencies. Like Sana, Fei Yue, at some point I'll check in with them. They won't record the names, but they'll just help. whoever come forward. I have heard of parents talking to their kids. The kids want to give up, and they will refer them to one of these SSAs.
So I was going to ask, like, how do you balance between punishment and rehab? Because it's a very fine line. Like, you have to put the punishment in place, but then you also have to be an avenue of like, okay, come forward, let's help you. So it's on the re-offense lah.
So we have to start somewhere. So this is our design now. Next few months, we're going to observe how it works. And eventually, we will have to enact a new legislation or amend a current legislation to reflect the operation and give ourselves the proper powers to do what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas today is we take a bit of powers from Poisons Act, from MDA, from the Tobacco Act, and then piece them together to form this framework, which is not neat at all. So we need something that's fit for purpose.
Okay.
Because I think this mode of substance abuse is here to stay.
Since you say that, right, then what does the ideal outcome look like now for you?
That people know that this is harmful and willingly not take it. That must be the outcome you want. It cannot be a cat and mouse game. Then you're forever just doing enforcement.
And it cannot be also like, I stopped doing it just because of the punishment. Like, they have to want to like stop.
Or worse, it taken root out of control, then you have no choice but lift the ban and start regulating it, saying that it's harm reduction. Actually, that is admitting defeat.
Right.
That's what I hear all the time when I attend international conferences. Other health ministers say we have no choice, but we just have to say we regulate. But they wish they have done what we did, which is banned from the outside.
So if people are doing it because maybe it's to cope with stress and whatnot, are there other measures that are being taken to help young people deal with stress so that they don't resort to like vapes?
Come for our cessation program. I'm not an expert, but the cessation program will teach you methods to substitute.
Okay. So to deal with stress, like other than...
exercise is always a good way. Going out with friends, talking to friends, have coffee, things.
It's just less
like
cool,
that.
I guess, for young people.
Maybe less cool. Less cool. But then again, if you are exercising, you are a sportsman, quite cool.
It's true.
Yeah. I asked Runner Cow and we never pay him. I just met him at an event. Then I asked him the same question. I say, young people, he said, you tell them vaping is not Sigma, you farm zero aura and it's not slay.
Oh, sick!
You cool with that? I really thought it was a joke, but what the message is behind is I think you need to speak to the young people on their terms and in their language and understand them. So for parents, for us, adults, when we want to persuade them, it cannot be judgy. That's my sense. Cannot be judgy.
With that, I think it was quite scary because I remember there was one incident where like I think a father was trying to take away like a keyboard vape from a son, and then I think his name was Mr. Yeo, and then the son took a knife to his neck and threatened to like harm himself if the vape wasn't returned to him. And I'm just wondering like what's the message to parents, because it feels like, okay, I need to stop this if I see my son doing it or my daughter doing it, but then it's making them even worse if I don't return it.
My kids are all grown up, so I can't say I'm a parenting expert of this age group anymore. But I would say some parenting techniques are always relevant. I think you have to judge your relationship with the kid.
Right.
For some fathers, I think they can snatch away the vape and the kid trusts the father enough and love the father, and they have a strong enough bond to accept it.
Right.
Yeah, and even accept punishment. Yeah. But some relationships are less strong, and you snatch away, you get a very strong response. In which case, then I think important thing is cannot be judgy. By then, if the relationship is not strong enough to take tough action, you cannot afford to be judgy already.
Right.
Wow.
And parents, it's very easy to be judgy. So the parents out there, judgy doesn't mean I think you are wrong, means judgy,
Yeah.
It's as little as a glance of the eye, a different expression, the kid already say, you judge me. You don't even understand why I did this. You know how much pain I'm going through, So sometimes you just ask questions, show concern.
It's as simple as an eye roll, a sigh.
Worst come to worst, to persuade the kid, how about sign up for the MOH program where we have professional counselors to take you through the journey. I had a friend, my kids was growing up to be teenagers. So I'm getting nervous, you see, at that time. So some years ago, his kids are grown up. So I asked him, how do you manage your kids when they are teenagers and they could be rebellious? He said they party a lot. Go out late at night, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And sometimes they just say, Dad, going out party. So he cannot be judgy. So I learned this from him. He said, never be judgy. Don't judge them. So his response is, do you need a lift when you finish partying, I can go pick you up wherever you are, whatever time.
Wow.
And he did that. And the kid took up his offer. After a few times, the kid would tell him where they are, what time, who are they with.
Oh my God.
But that's magic of not being judgy.
My dad did exactly the same thing.
Your dad did exactly that.
Like I think 18,
so where did you
19,
go and what time?
Rebel, Zaka.
Lucky envy.
Call back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like that. And so like 18, 19, then you start to go in club, party, get exposed to drinking, all this kind of stuff. Then like I was always out. But whenever I needed it, right, like I just text him or whatever, right, then he will show up.
Whatever time.
Whether I'm drunk, like 3, 4
Your
a.m.
bond with him is solid.
Okay lah.
So say you're a 15-year-old or 16-year-old kid and you just got into the wrong like group of friends, and so you just started like vaping Kpods. If your dad were to snatch it from you and the urge was so strong that you're going to harm yourself, like would you trust him and believe him that it was the right thing, or you fight him?
I think fire. But
15-year-old jump
But
out
I want to
today,
say that today's generation, I think it's very different. Like the younger generation have a lot more exposure and they're educated. Like the narratives of taking care of your health, they have so much exposure to content that's telling them like what are the right things to do and all that, right? So I feel like they are much more set up to be able to make smarter decisions for themselves. Like even when we talk about smoking, right? Yes, like back in my time when I was in secondary school or whatever, cigarettes and all this, right? It's just like, the one guy asks you to smoke, then you just smoke. You don't know, you don't weigh a lot of these like considerations, right?
Singips.
But now, like okay, sorry, not secondary school. I changed to poly. Like you mentioned, right? Like the rate of cigarettes is going down now. The younger like adoption rates all these are lower. So even when you talk about like, okay, if I don't vape, then I'll go back to smoking, right? I don't think that will be as serious a case for them. Because even though they are going to cut down on vaping, right? I don't think they will jump straight back to cigarettes. They still have the impression and idea already that cigarettes is not cool, it's not that great, you know? Yeah.
It's actually quite true because you see like even drinking habits have gone down, like nightlife amongst young people also don't seem to be a thing as compared to our generation. So actually I can see that. It's just then what are the rules of engagement? What's the way to persuade them to then like not do this anymore if smoking is actually not the alternative?
I feel like it's your young the influencers that people most often.
Like the KOLs or like influencers?
Yeah, quite literally, yeah. For instance, the biggest content creator of last year is Speed. Speed.
Right.
And he never on screen when he's streaming, he never smokes, he never, vapes, he doesn't do any of those things because his crowd, his audience of like 1 million people watching him at any one time, predominantly under 18, impressionable kids. And for he's got this value that he doesn't do those things on stage and on screen. So when kids watch him, they like see him traveling, they see him playing sports and stuff. That's what they see him do. And they're like, he's really cool and I'm going to do that.
Right.
So it's a matter of what kind of influences you watch as a kid, right? Like, and then you pick those people.
Yeah. I'm curious if there is an interesting explanation to how monetary fines get determined.
It's an art.
Okay,
There's probably some chat GPT for government fines. How much do we fine? Then you will
Fine GPT.
Actually, it's true. No?
Okay.
You can actually have all the rules, all the laws in Singapore, have a chat GPT train under it and say there's this offense now, how much should we fine? It will compare across all different offenses and say this level is about right.
Is that how it's done?
That today is how it's manually done.
Oh, I always thought you all have a focus group and 20 people and be like, I tell you $100 fine, will you do it or not? And then guy like, maybe, okay, raise it. Next. Then you keep going until a point where everyone says, okay, I won't. Then that's your fine. But I thought that's how it worked,
Wait, sorry, when you say it's done manually means not relying on AI?
Not really. That means we actually look through other legislation.
Okay.
What's the fine for this? And then you find that.
Okay.
Which is something that machine learning can actually do very well.
There should be some parity.
The bins, they will continue to remain.
We will probably keep some. Yeah. Kembangan. Maybe Kembangan, we should leave it there.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll probably leave it, definitely checkpoints, airport, we should have. Maybe some of the polys, universities, favorite corners, we should leave them there.
At what point does the free pass to like dispose in the red bins like end? Or is it always going to be okay if you come to the red bins?
Red bins are okay to live around.
Okay.
Yeah. I think what you may be more interested is to how long will the QuitVape program last?
Okay.
Where I give you a chance to to give yourself a chance to quit.
That's a great question. Let me ask you.
Yeah. I will put it on for at least 6 months and then see how it goes from there. Because the regime today is if you are caught vaping etomidate or recalcitrant vapor, you required to attend a rehab program.
Yeah.
Yeah, required, in lieu of prosecution. Yeah. If you don't go, then we'll charge you. However, you can also give yourself a chance by surrendering yourself to this QuitVape program, run by Sana or We Care or Fei Yue, and say that I want to go through the program.
Just before, and what's the final message that you want to say out to users or perhaps youth who know users and are afraid to come forward?
Why are they afraid to come forward?
Perhaps they are worried that maybe they actually might get into trouble, or maybe they actually are too addicted. And
like will you tell their parents, right? Like that's a real fear, ma.
they're more scared of the parents rather than the law.
Yeah, the social repercussions as well. Yeah.
Talk to someone that is well-meaning and you trust, and then discuss with them. Probably that, and they will guide you to do the right thing, I believe.
It's a very optimistic take, but I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ong.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Raja, is the end of the episode, and it's also time for
Painting of the episode.
So the Daily Ketchup is a proud supporter of Shaping Hearts, which is an inclusive art festival selling art pieces by artists with disabilities.
So today's piece is called Coleman Bridge, and it's by the artist Chia Yong Liang William, who is quadriplegic. And William here has captured Coleman Bridge, which, if you don't know, is a historic landmark in Singapore. And he has captured how Coleman Bridge is really a blend of the past and present. He's captured the architecture of the 1800s and the modern cityscape that we live in today.
If you want to get this piece, Raja, you can head to Shaping Hearts, happening at our Tampines Hub from 13 to 28 September from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
If you want to find out more about this piece and our other artists as well, check out the link in the description below. I'm surprised you still find the time to watch Menu. With all
Okay, I actually don't watch. These days,
He's given up already.
Rightly so, lah.
my expectation is so low. So I wake up, I look at the result. The result not bad, then I watch.
Oh, okay.
There's an advantage now.
That's why you look healthier. Like, I think, the skin's glowing.
Actually, side question.
Yeah.
You got like almost 200k followers on Instagram, right? Then
I never count.
can you monetize it or not? Like can do like
How to
People- these
monetize?
people's
You mean I
full-time job,
advertise for people? Is it?
is it politician then cannot monetize?
We cannot monetize.
Instagram? But after
After
can.
what?
Then you get the
After you
OSIM.
like done-
Then OSIM
done
send you a
with
chair, ask you
politics,
post out, then-
No, after that, I want to rest.
You can start a podcast.
After so many, after so many years of being out in the public, having to come out explain things, when you finally retire, you probably want to just relax,
I tell you what, Red
watch
Talk-
other people.
Great talk with OYK. We talk about the latest Menu debacle. That's your post-politics career.
Soccer podcast.
Okay, I don't know when I'll retire, but by the time I retire, you still got
You're still
menu debacle. That's very sad.